First contact and miscalculation. The grand observation deck of the Veldari flagship Eternal Dominance offered a panoramic view of the small blue-green planet that rotated slowly below. Admiral Casvar stood with his forearms clasped behind his back, his silver-scaled skin reflecting the ambient light of the command center. His vertical pupils narrowed as he studied Earth with growing disdain. "Such a peculiar world," he remarked to no one in particular. "So much water. So inefficient." Sub-Commander Vex approached with characteristic precision, her exoskeleton clicking softly against the polished floor. "The preliminary assessment has been completed, Admiral. You'll find it amusing." The thin smile spread across Kasthar's features as he received the data tablet. The Veldari Empire had conquered 17 star systems in the past century, each victory more efficient than the last. Their natural evolution on a radiation-soaked homeworld had given them biological advantages that translated into technological supremacy. Enhanced neural processing, natural electromagnetic manipulation, and regenerative capabilities that made them nearly immortal by human standards. "These humans," Casthar said, scrolling through the report, "they're even more primitive than we anticipated." "Indeed, Admiral. Their most advanced computing systems still rely primarily on silicon. Their neural networks are rudimentary at best. And biologically," Vex paused for effect, "they're practically defenseless. No natural armor, no redundant organs, extremely limited regeneration, and lifespans barely reaching a single Veldari decade." Casvar let out a sound between a hiss and a laugh. "They've barely colonized their own moon, yet they broadcast signals claiming to be an advanced civilization. The audacity is almost charming." The bridge crew maintained their positions, but a ripple of amusement passed through them. The conquest of Earth would hardly qualify as a milestone for the Empire, but new resources were always welcome. "Most curious," continued Vex, "is their obsession with fictional scenarios. Nearly 70% of their global data transmission is dedicated to entertainment and social posturing." "Fascinating," Casthar responded with evident sarcasm. "A species with so little time, wasting most of it on fantasy." He handed the tablet back to Vex. "Prepare a small strike force. Third-tier vessels only. No need to waste our premium resources on such an insignificant world." Vex's head tilted slightly, the Veldari equivalent of a raised eyebrow. "Admiral, standard protocol dictates a full invasion fleet for uncharted territories. Standard protocol is for species worthy of our full attention," Casthar countered swiftly. "This will be nothing more than a training exercise for our junior officers. We'll be done before the next solar rotation." The bridge crew exchanged satisfied glances. A simple conquest with minimal effort would earn them all commendations, perhaps even genetic modification rights for their future offspring. "Open a communication channel," Casthar ordered. "Let's inform these humans of their impending status upgrade to Imperial subjects." On Earth, Dr. Maya Sharma was in the middle of a classified briefing when every screen in the underground facility at Cheyenne Mountain went black. A moment later, they all displayed the same image: a silver-scaled humanoid with 4 arms and reptilian features. Primitive beings of Earth, the creature spoke in surprisingly fluent English. "I am Admiral Casthar of the Veldari Empire. Your planet has been selected for incorporation into our domain. Resistance is unnecessary and will result in your extinction. You have 1 Earth rotation to surrender your governing authorities to our control. This is not a negotiation. This is your evolution." The transmission ended, leaving a momentary silence before the room erupted into controlled chaos. General Williams, the head of the United Earth Defense Initiative, turned to Maya. "Dr. Sharma, is Phoenix ready?" Maya's expression remained calm, though her dark eyes flashed with intensity. "It's been ready for 15 years, General. We've been waiting for this day since we detected their first probes in the Kuiper Belt." The truth was, humanity had known about the Veldari for decades. The first signals had been intercepted by a deep space array in 2084, and since then, Earth had been preparing in secret, while publicly maintaining the appearance of a moderately advanced civilization, still struggling with climate change and political divisions. Behind the scenes, a unified global defense program had been developing technologies that leapfrogged conventional scientific progression. Send the standard response protocol, General Williams ordered. Complete confusion, political bickering, no unified message. Let them think we're disorganized. Maya nodded and moved to her station. Phoenix Control Online, she announced, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Quantum Entanglement Network activated. All subsystems green. Across the planet, in similar facilities hidden beneath mountains, oceans, and deserts, other teams were activating their systems. Humanity had long suspected it wasn't alone in the universe and had planned accordingly. The Phoenix Protocol was the result, a defensive system so advanced it had been kept hidden from the public to prevent detection by alien surveillance. Remember, Maya said to her team, our advantage is surprise. They think we're primitive. Let's not disabuse them of that notion until it's too late. Aboard the Eternal Dominance, Admiral Kazfar was puzzled by Earth's response, or rather, the lack thereof. The deadline had passed, and instead of a unified surrender, they had received a chaotic mixture of messages, some pleading, some defiant, some clearly confused. Different nations sent contradictory communications, some offering surrender while others threatened primitive nuclear retaliation. These creatures can't even coordinate a response, Kazfar remarked with amusement. They're even more fractured than we thought. It appears they don't have a global governing authority, Vex observed. Their political structure is fragmented into nearly 200 sovereign entities. Kazfar waved a dismissive hand. All the easier for us. Launch the first wave. Target their military installations and governmental centers. Standard subjugation pattern. 30 Veldari ships descended through Earth's atmosphere, their advanced cloaking technology making them invisible to conventional radar, or so they believed. As the ships approached their targets, warning indicators suddenly flashed across Veldari control panels. Admiral. The tactical officer's voice was sharp with alarm. Our targeting systems are malfunctioning. They're being redirected. Impossible, Kazfar snapped. Human technology cannot interface with our systems, yet the evidence was undeniable. Somehow, these primitive beings had found a way to infiltrate the Veldari ship's navigation protocols. Instead of strategic military targets, the ships were now locked onto uninhabited areas. Deserts, oceans, empty plains. Override manually, Kazfar ordered, a note of concern creeping into his voice for the first time. Before the pilots could comply, a second wave of anomalies struck. The Veldari communication network collapsed, followed by cascading failures in their propulsion systems. Ships began dropping from the sky, not crashing but making controlled forced landings in the predetermined empty zones. What is happening? Kazfar demanded, watching in horror as his perfect invasion disintegrated before it had even begun. On his command screen, a message appeared, written in flawless Veldari script. Perhaps you should have sent your full fleet after all. In the control center beneath Cheyenne Mountain, Maya watched with satisfaction as the holographic display showed all 30 Veldari ships safely contained in designated zones. Phase 1 complete, she announced. All 30 Veldari vessels have been successfully commandeered and grounded at the containment sites. General Williams nodded in approval. How long before they bypass our control? They won't, Maya stated with confidence. The moment they entered our atmosphere, their systems were infected with our quantum algorithms. We own their technology now. On her screen, the status of each ship showed green. The operation had gone even more smoothly than their simulations had predicted. Dr. Sharma, a junior technician, called out, "We're receiving a transmission from the Veldari flagship. Admiral Kazfar is demanding to speak with Earth's leadership." Maya exchanged glances with General Williams. "I believe it's time for proper introductions," she said with the hint of a smile. "Put him through on the main screen." Kasvar's face appeared, his expression a mixture of rage and disbelief. "What trickery is this?" he demanded. "How have you interfered with our vessels?" Maya stepped forward. "Admiral Kasvar, I am Dr. Maya Sharma, Director of Earth's Unified Defense Initiative. We've been expecting you for some time." "Impossible," Kasvar hissed. "Your species is primitive. Your technology is centuries behind ours." "Is it?" Maya replied calmly. "Perhaps you should reconsider your assessment. We detected your scout probes years ago and have been preparing accordingly. What you've seen of Earth, our public technology, our apparent divisions, has been a carefully maintained facade." For the first time in his long life, Admiral Kasvar felt the unfamiliar sensation of doubt. How could these soft, short-lived creatures have outsmarted the mighty Veldari? "This is merely a setback," he declared. "The full might of the Veldari Empire will descend upon your world, and there will be nothing left but ashes." Maya's expression remained unchanged. "I would advise against that, Admiral. The 30 ships we've neutralized are intact, as are their crews. We have no desire for conflict. But make no mistake, what you've witnessed today was merely a fraction of our defensive capabilities." As if to emphasize her point, a holographic projection appeared beside her, showing the complex quantum algorithms that had overcome the Veldari systems in milliseconds. "Impossible," Kasvar whispered, recognizing technology that even the Veldari had only theorized about. "We look forward to establishing diplomatic relations with the Veldari Empire," Maya continued. "Perhaps we can start by discussing the safe return of your personnel and vessels as a gesture of goodwill." The transmission ended, leaving Admiral Kasvar staring at a blank screen, his worldview irrevocably shattered. The truth of human ingenuity. The Grand Council chamber of the Veldari Empire buzzed with agitation. Located in the heart of the massive station orbiting their homeworld, the chamber rarely hosted emergency sessions. Today was an exception. "This is unprecedented." Supreme Counselor Mazvor's voice echoed throughout the chamber, his ancestral scales, bearing the metallic sheen that marked the highest echelon of Veldari society, shimmered under the artificial light. "Admiral Kasvar, explain how a primitive species managed to neutralize 30 of our warships without firing a single shot." Admiral Kasvar stood at the center of the chamber, his posture rigid despite the humiliation burning through him. "Supreme Counselor, the humans, they are not what we believe them to be." "Elaborate," commanded Mazvor. "Their public technological development was a deception. They allowed us to observe only what they wanted us to see. Behind this facade, they have developed quantum computing far beyond our current capabilities. They infected our ships with algorithms that took control of all systems instantaneously." Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the council. A species achieving quantum supremacy without displaying any of the prerequisite technological stages. It defied all known patterns of civilization development. "And now?" asked Counselor Vishta, her voice sharp with concern. "They've established a communication channel and are requesting diplomatic discussions. They claim to have no hostile intentions despite our unprovoked aggression." The chamber fell silent as the implications settled over the gathering. The Veldari Empire had never negotiated with a species they had targeted for conquest. It was unprecedented, unthinkable. "Prepare the Imperial fleet," Mazvor finally declared. "All vessels. If these humans have developed such technology in secret, they represent either a valuable addition to the Empire or an existential threat that must be eliminated." "Supreme Counselor," Kasvar ventured, "I must advise caution. Their technological capabilities are still wielded by soft, fragile beings." Mazvor interrupted. "No matter their computational advances, they remain physically inferior. We will adapt our approach, but the outcome will be the same. The Veldari Empire does not retreat." Back on Earth, in the central command of the Phoenix Protocol, Dr. Maya Sharma studied the data from the captured Veldari vessels with fascination. "Their bioneural interface is remarkable," she noted to her colleague, Dr. Takahashi. The way they've integrated their natural electromagnetic manipulation abilities into their technology. It's elegant, but fundamentally flawed, Takahashi pointed out. They relied too heavily on their biological advantages and never developed the kind of resilient, adaptable systems we had to create to compensate for our limitations. Maya nodded thoughtfully. The irony is that our perceived weakness drove our greatest innovation. Because we couldn't manipulate electromagnetic fields naturally, we had to understand them more deeply. Their conversation was interrupted by an alert. General Williams' hologram appeared in the center of the room. Dr. Sharma, our deep space monitoring has detected a massive energy signature leaving the Veldari system. It appears they deployed their entire fleet. Estimated arrival time, 72 hours. Maya wasn't surprised. They're too proud to accept defeat. Activate Phase 2. And inform all Phoenix sites to prepare for a full-scale response. Across the globe, hidden facilities sprang into action. What the Veldari didn't understand, couldn't comprehend, was that humanity's greatest strength had always been its adaptability. For centuries, humans had imagined alien invasions through fiction, war games, and thought experiments. When the actual threat materialized, they were conceptually prepared in ways the Veldari could never have anticipated. 3 days later, the skies above Earth darkened as over 500 Veldari warships emerged from faster-than-light travel. At their center was the colossal Imperial Reckoning, a vessel the size of a small moon, bearing the Supreme Counselor himself. Humans of Earth, Masvor's transmission boomed across all communication channels. Your deception and resistance have been noted. The full might of the Veldari Empire now stands before you. Surrender your technology and accept Imperial rule, or face extinction. You have 1 hour to comply. In the Phoenix Command Center, Maya exchanged a look with General Williams. They still don't understand, she said quietly. Their loss, the general replied. Are we ready? Maya nodded and opened a channel to the Imperial Reckoning. Supreme Counselor Masvor, this is Dr. Maya Sharma. We have reviewed your demands and find them unacceptable. We offered diplomatic relations. You responded with threats. Allow me to demonstrate why this is unwise. She closed the channel and turned to her team. Activate the Helios network. Around the planet, in orbit, and hidden throughout the solar system, thousands of small satellites, previously disguised as space debris, suddenly activated. Each contained a quantum entanglement node that linked to every other node instantaneously, creating a defense grid that encompassed the entire planet. Admiral Kazfar, watching from the bridge of his new flagship, felt a chill as his sensors detected the activation. Supreme Counselor, they're deploying some kind of planetary defense system. Irrelevant. Masvor dismissed. Begin the attack. Target their major population centers. Before the command could be executed, every Veldari ship in the fleet suddenly lost power. Systems went dark, weapons deactivated, and life support switched to emergency reserves. Only the communication channels remained functional, deliberately left open by the Human Defense Network. What is happening? Masvor demanded, genuine fear coloring his voice for the first time. Maya's face appeared on the main screen of the Imperial Reckoning. What's happening, Supreme Counselor, is the application of quantum field manipulation on a scale your scientists have only theorized about. We've temporarily disabled your fleet. No one has been harmed, and all systems can be restored with a single command. She gestured, and a holographic display appeared, showing the complex network that now enveloped both Earth and the Veldari fleet. For decades, we knew we weren't alone. We prepared not just technologically, but philosophically. While you conquered other worlds through force, we imagined thousands of possible first contact scenarios, including hostile ones, and developed countermeasures for each. Impossible, whispered Masvor. No species could advance so quickly without being detected. That's where you're wrong, Maya replied. Your empire's fundamental mistake was assuming that technological development follows a universal linear path. But human progress has always been erratic, driven by necessity and imagination. When we detected your probes, we didn't just accelerate our existing research, we completely reimagined it. On the bridge of his ship, Admiral Kazthar finally understood. The Veldari had evolved with natural advantages that made certain technologies easy to develop. This created a blind spot. They couldn't conceive of radically different evolutionary paths, leading to different, potentially superior technological approaches. The Supreme Counselor's life support is failing, an officer reported urgently. The backup systems are degrading too quickly. Kazfar's eyes widened. Contact Dr. Sharma immediately. On screen, Maya appeared concerned when informed of the situation. This wasn't part of our protocol. Your life support systems should be unaffected. Her fingers flew across her interface. There's been a cascading failure in your primary bioneural networks. The quantum interference is interacting with your biology in ways we didn't anticipate. For the first time, Kazfa recognized genuine concern in a human's expression. These creatures they had dismissed as primitive were now working frantically to save Veldari lives. The same lives they had threatened to extinguish. I'm establishing a direct quantum link to your systems, Maya announced. We can stabilize the life support by temporarily replacing your bioneural control with our algorithms. Hours later, as Veldari engineers worked alongside humans to restore their fleet's systems, Admiral Kazthar stood in a hastily arranged conference room aboard the Imperial Reckoning. Across from him sat Dr. Maya Sharma and General Williams. You could have destroyed us, Kazthar stated simply. We could have, Maya agreed, but that was never our intention. Earth has no interest in conquest or destruction. We only want to ensure our survival and independence. Your technology, it surpasses ours in ways I still cannot fully comprehend. Maya smiled slightly. Not in all ways. Your biotechnology, your neural interfaces, they're remarkable. We have much to learn from each other. Supreme Counselor Mazvor, weakened but recovering, joined the discussion. In 17 conquered systems, we have never encountered a species that defeated us, let alone spared us afterward. Perhaps that's why you needed to encounter humans, Maya suggested. Your biological advantages made you strong, but they also made you predictable. Our perceived weaknesses forced us to innovate in unexpected ways. Mazvor studied the humans with new respect. The Veldari Empire has never accepted equals before, but it seems the universe has given us little choice in this matter. Not equals, Maya corrected gently. Partners, different species with different strengths, working together rather than against each other. The universe is vast and likely filled with dangers neither of us has encountered yet. Wouldn't it be better to face them united? As negotiations began for the first mutual cooperation treaty in Veldari history, Admiral Kazthar found himself reflecting on the irony of their situation. They had come to conquer what they thought was a weak, primitive species. Instead, they had found not just technological equals but philosophical teachers. The humans had every right to destroy them after their unprovoked aggression. Instead, they offered partnership. It was a concept foreign to Veldari culture, yet undeniably powerful in its implications. Perhaps, Kazthar thought, this was the true evolution the Veldari needed. Not conquest, but cooperation. Not domination, but mutual growth. The war that ended in minutes had begun a peace that might last centuries. And it had all started because they had underestimated a species that looked soft and fragile, but harbored an inner strength and ingenuity that no scanning technology could detect. The greatest weapons of humanity, it seemed, weren't their quantum algorithms or defense networks, but their adaptability, imagination, and capacity for forgiveness, qualities the Veldari had never thought to value until now.